Hello everyone, Sebastian here. This sharp focus is late because I've been preoccupied with our collapsing share price. It's still on for commodities, and this one's about palm oil and our company. It's based on a speech I'm giving tomorrow called Something of Value, Something Useful, Something Rare. But first, something to go through. Now, if you think of all the great companies like Apple in America, here BCA, Astra, they've all gone through very difficult times. I remember Astra at 250 rupee a share. I remember a bank run, watching a bank run at BCA, and Apple getting $150 million from Microsoft to survive. So it's something you have to go through. Now, something of value. The word commodity is used quite often negatively these days, but in the dictionary it means something of value, something useful, something rare. And although prices have been weak recently, there is one commodity, the latest mining commodity, which is going through the roof. Bitcoin, of course. So it's never a bad time for commodities. And I found a study looking at wealth created by stocks over the last 100 years. And there are two companies which have created over $1 trillion of wealth from share and dividends. The most recent is Apple, over the last 40 years, of course, but over 100 years, the other one is Exxon. So over time, it's commodities which have produced the greatest wealth. The dollar, which has been stronger, which is not good for commodities, maybe because of the Trump tax cut, and people expecting that corporates will bring money back to the US. But corporate tax is small, it's only 9% of tax. So for me, the bigger impact is likely to be faster growth, which should lead to a weaker dollar and a recovery in commodities soon. Now, something useful. Edible oil has now grown to become bigger than meal, the biggest food commodity. And while 10 years ago, the biggest edible oil was soy, it's now by far palm. So palm is the most useful food commodity. And it's obviously grown double digits to become that big. But if we look forward, the supply growth is going to turn negative. And we know this because palm is slow moving. We know what's been planted. We can tell what's going to come in production in the future. So in about 3 or 4 years' time, the difference between what's coming to maturity and what is going to have to be replanted is about minus 300,000 hectares. So going to be negative growth. Now in the short term, it seems like palm oil it's been worried perhaps by biodiesel. Now biodiesel started about 10 years ago. It has never made sense. The oil price is always lower than the palm oil price. So now, for me, biodiesel is collapsing, and that will take away some demand. But if you look at how tight supply is going to become, that doesn't matter. So we should see the palm oil price recover soon. Something rare. What does it take to be a great company? Well, for me, 3 things. The first is size. Eagle High, BWPT, we are big. We have 150,000 hectares of plantations, which is about twice the size of Singapore, and we have about 18.9 million trees. That's twice the population of Jakarta, all working hard for us to produce revenue. So we're big. Second, you need cash flow. Now for 20 years we didn't have any cash flow, and that's one of the reasons why our shares are so low. But in the last 1 year, we have started to produce cash flow, and we've paid down the debt which we accumulated in the negative cash flow years. Yes, that may temporarily have stopped because of the lower price, but we're very close. So price going back up, and we'll quickly be in cash flow again. The third thing is momentum. So as I mentioned, we're just in momentum, we're just starting to get momentum with cash flow. If you went back to when we first became EHP in the beginning of 2015, we produced 100,000 tons, January 2015. January 2017, we produced 100,000 tons, so no change. But now the 3-month average is reached about 120, 130,000. So we're starting to get momentum, and with higher price, we'll get more cash flow, and because of our big size, it's going to be big. How big? Well, I put a link on our website. We've got a little calculator. You can work out where things might go in the future in terms of yield, price, and valuation. And you plug in the numbers that I use and you're going to get an enormous return potential. Anyway, thanks and see you next time. Bye.